Hey there, and welcome. So let me ask you a question, a really big one. What is real? It's a question that can keep you up at night, right? Well, today we're going to go on an amazing journey to figure it out. And our guide, it's not some mystical guru, it's one of the greatest minds in history, Aristotle. He built an entire model of the universe, starting right from the ground up. Let's dive in.
Okay, so to really get Aristotle, you first got to know about his teacher, Plato. You know that famous painting, The School of Athens? Well, their whole disagreement is summed up in one simple gesture. Plato, he's pointing up to the sky. He believed the truly real world was this perfect, unseen place of forms. You know, the perfect idea of a chair or the perfect essence of dogness. But Aristotle, he's pointing right down at the ground. For him, reality isn't up there somewhere. Nope, it's right here in this messy, amazing, physical world we can actually see and touch.
And this is where Aristotle's genius really shines. He builds his whole understanding of the universe from the ground up. He doesn't start with these lofty, abstract ideas. He starts with real, solid things. So to follow his logic, we don't need some complex thought experiment. We just need a good case study. And for us, our guide to the entire cosmos is going to be this little guy right here. Meet Findik the dog.
All right, first stop on our journey, the ground floor. We're tackling the theory of substance, and we're asking the most basic question you can ask. What is the fundamental building block of everything?
Aristotle's answer is this one powerful idea, substance. So what's a substance? It's basically anything that can exist all by itself. It's the individual this that you can point to. It's not an idea, it's a thing. It doesn't need to be attached to anything else to be real. And yep, you guessed it, Findik himself is a perfect example of a substance. And here's where Aristotle really breaks it down in a brilliant way. He says, you've got your primary substance. That's the star of the show, Findik himself. Then you have what he calls accidents. Just think of them as accessories. His brown fur, his super happy mood, his muddy paws from playing outside. Now, these things are totally real, but they can't exist on their own, right? You can't just have brownness floating around the room. You need something that is brown. The accidents totally depend on the substance. Findik is still Findik, even after a bath when those muddy paws are clean.
Okay, so reality is made of substances. Got it. But what is a substance made of? This brings us to the next level. Reality's Legos, or what's officially called the hylomorphism theory. So Aristotle gives us another killer two-part answer. It's called hylomorphism. Basically, every single physical thing is a combo of two things, matter and form. The absolute easiest way to get this is to think about Play-Doh. The shapeless lump of Play-Doh, that's the matter, the raw stuff, the pure potential. The shape you press into it, let's say you use a star-shaped cookie cutter. That's the form. It's the design, the structure. And when you combine them, you get a substance, a star-shaped piece of Play-Doh. It's a brilliant way to see that every object around you is just some kind of stuff that's been given a specific structure. Now hang on, because this is where it gets really mind-bending. Aristotle applies this to living things too. For a living being, the matter is its flesh and blood and bones. But what's its form? Aristotle says its form is its soul, or psyche. Now hold on, he doesn't mean a ghost that haunts a house. Not at all. For him, the soul is the functional organization of the body. Think of it like this. The body is the hardware, and the soul is the software that runs on it. It's what makes that pile of matter alive and able to do stuff like see and grow and think. So we know what things are, substances, made of matter and form. But that's just a snapshot, right? Things don't just sit there, they change. So let's get to the universe's glow-up secret, how potential becomes actual. I mean, really think about this for a second. An acorn is very, very clearly not an oak tree. A pile of bronze is not a statue. So how in the world does one thing become something else that it currently isn't? This puzzle of becoming was a huge headache for philosophers back then. Aristotle's solution here is just genius in its simplicity. He brings in two new ideas, potentiality and actuality. An acorn has the potentiality, this built-in power or capacity to become an oak tree. It's the could be. It doesn't have the potential to become a chicken, right? Its potential is specific. The fully grown oak tree, then, is the actuality of that potential. It's the is now. And just like that, the mystery is solved. Change isn't some weird, magical leap from nothing to something. It's just the journey of a thing's potential being made actual. That's it. From could be to is now. A seed becoming a plant, a block of marble becoming a sculpture, a student becoming a doctor. It's all the exact same process. Okay, so we've got the building blocks, and we know how they change. Now, Aristotle gives us a toolkit to understand, well, literally anything. He says that to truly know something, you have to be able to answer 4 different why questions about it.
Let's use a nice, tasty example. A birthday cake. First, the material cause. What's it made of? Flour, sugar, eggs. Simple enough. Second, the formal cause. What's its design or recipe? It's the idea for a 3-layer chocolate cake. Third, the efficient cause. Who or what actually made it? That would be the baker and the heat from the oven. And finally, the final cause. And this one is super important. Aristotle called it the telos. What is it for? It's for celebrating a birthday. See? To really get the whole story of the cake, you need all 4 answers. And for Aristotle, the most important of these, the real MVP, is the final cause, the telos. And you might be asking, why? Well, because the purpose is what sets everything else in motion. The whole idea of celebrating a birthday is what makes the baker, the efficient cause, follow the recipe, the formal cause, to mix together the flour and sugar, the material cause. The purpose is the ultimate why behind all the other whys. It's the driver of everything. And this whole idea of a final purpose, a telos, is where things start to get really personal. We're moving from the world of objects to maybe the biggest question of all. If everything has a purpose, what about us? See, Aristotle's philosophy doesn't just hang out in the abstract. It brings it right back to you and me. It forces us to ask this question directly. If a simple acorn has this built-in drive to become a mighty oak tree, and a cake is made for a celebration, what are we for? What's our ultimate function? Aristotle's answer is this absolutely beautiful concept, eudaimonia. Now, this gets translated as happiness a lot, but that word just doesn't do it justice. It's so much more than that fleeting feeling you get from watching a funny video. Eudaimonia really means human flourishing. It's the activity of living at your absolute best, of actualizing your unique human potential. And since Aristotle thought our most unique potential is our ability to reason, eudaimonia is the activity of living a full, virtuous life that's guided by that reason. It's about being the best human you can possibly be. Okay, we started on the ground with Fundic the dog. We've climbed all the way up to the purpose of human life. Now for our final step, Aristotle's logic is going to take us all the way to the top, to the ultimate cause of everything in the entire universe. Buckle up.
So the logic goes something like this. We see motion and change everywhere, right? And we also know that anything that's moving got set in motion by something else. The baker moved the ingredients, the wind moves the leaves. But what moved the baker? And what caused the wind? Can that chain of movers just go back and back and back forever, with no beginning? Like an endless line of dominoes?
Aristotle says, no way. That's logically impossible. There has to be a first mover, something that started all the motion without being moved itself, and he calls this the prime mover. And just by using pure logic, he figures out what it must be like. To be the first mover, it has to be unmoved and unchanging. If it's unchanging, it can't have any unfulfilled potential. It must be pure actuality. And if it has no potential, it can't have any matter. It has to be pure form. And therefore, it must be eternal and perfect. So how does something move the entire universe without moving itself? This is maybe the most beautiful, poetic part of Aristotle's entire system. The prime mover doesn't push the universe, it pulls it. He says it moves the universe in the same way that a beloved person moves the one who loves them. Just by existing in its perfection, it inspires desire. The entire universe sees this ultimate perfection and desires to be like it, to emulate it. And that striving, that cosmic crush, is the source of all motion and all change in the cosmos. So just look at how far we've come. We started on the ground with a real, concrete substance, our dog, Fundic. We saw that he's driven by an inner purpose, a telos. And then we discovered that this purpose is actually a reflection of the entire universe, being pulled towards an ultimate, perfect goal, the prime mover. From a puppy to the cosmos, all connected by a chain of pure logic. It's incredible. In the end, Aristotle's guide to reality gives us a universe that's deeply connected and just overflowing with purpose. It shows us that the journey of a single acorn growing into a tree, or a happy dog just living its best doggy life, is connected to the grand, overarching purpose of the cosmos itself, which really just leaves us with one final, big question to think about. What potential are you making actual? What purpose are you bringing to life today?